Hey everybody, Vicki Fitch here, your direct sales expert. I am coming to you live from sunny Southern California and a crazy day. I feel like every day is a crazy day lately, right? We can't quite get a day that doesn't go cray cray. So, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. If do me a favor, you guys know I'm on the schnitzel list. So, if you guys could make sure you hit the share button so we can share it out to other people, I'd really appreciate it. And put your name, drop your name in the chat box. We are live streaming on 5 platforms. And like I said, I'm on the schnitzel list. So I'm not getting, if you don't know when I'm going on, you can't find me unless you find me by accident. So hit the share button. Make sure you grab that link if you don't want to share it out on your profile because you're afraid of the content. I get that. Make sure that you grab it. And hey, yeah, hey there. And whoever just wrote Cray Cray, tell me who your name is because you're inside the group. And so you haven't given permission. So it doesn't say, it just says Facebook user. Thanks, guys. Hey, Melanie, Mark, Michael, 3 M's in a row. Hey, Ed, welcome to the broadcast. Again, you can grab the link and you can share it into a Facebook Messenger post in case you're worried about posting it out there. I recognize the cancel culture wants to cancel everybody. And that might be you. I know I'm on the chopping block. So you guys better, hey, Jerry, welcome, sweetie. You guys better make sure that you are on my newsletter list because, the chances of me being here much longer are fairly limited. Yesterday, if you saw the sequence we were going through, all I did was post an article of a woman that was choosing to remove herself from a media group because she felt like she couldn't be honest, and they blocked that and then said it was hate content and made me fill out this form saying I that wasn't the truth. Anyway, it's a long story, but I would say I'm hanging on the precipice, guys. I'm hanging on the precipice, but to be honest with you, I don't care. The only reason I'm still here is to try and share this message and to try and share it with you guys. So many of you know we have to speak in different terms these days. If you don't know, you got to catch my newsletter so you know what I'm talking about. So I can keep myself off the schnitzel list. So anyway, so again, hit that share button, drop your name in the chat box, say hey. I appreciate it. Hey, Rip, welcome to the broadcast. Mary, I see. I don't know. I couldn't see that. Seneca? I couldn't see. Anyway, welcome. Okay, so today we're talking about the cancel culture crisis. Put a one in the chat box if you guys know what I'm talking about. Because just this week alone, I mean, how many things or people or objects are getting canceled, But at least we did get one back. If you guys didn't notice, Mr. Potato Head is back in the game. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head can go back and get married and do whatever they want, or at least so far as I know, Mr. Potato Head's back. I believe Mrs. Potato Head's off the chopping block. Like I said, they can create tater tot or do whatever they want, but let's stop taking away our childhood toys. Stop taking away things. And today I'm going to talk to you because I was just talking to my son and, starting and stopping RT. Oh, starting and stopping. Are you talking about the app? Or are you talking about cancel culture? Like somebody's in, then they're out. Maybe if they like pay a fee or something, they can get back in for the day. I have no idea. But we are going to talk about Dr. Seuss today. Like we're going to call him, let's call him Dr. S. Okay. Because Dr. S might get us in less trouble. We really need to have this conversation because there's a difference between some of the things that are happening, right? Erratic stream. Oh, it is. But maybe try on Facebook or something. I'm not sure why it would be erratic over here on Periscope. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. We're also on YouTube. So you might try another platform. Sorry about that. I'm not sure how I could change it there. But anyway, as we're going back to addressing it, although I'm on the schnitzel list, maybe maybe my content's getting blocked in that way too. The cancel culture has gone crazy. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a little update. Many people don't know. I was talking to my son and he didn't really understand the logistics of what was happening here. And you guys know, if you haven't yet, we have on VickiFitch.com /freebies, you guys can download what's called a national hashtag calendar. And it tells you all the different days that are coming up and things that are happening, which is one of the reasons I'm fairly aware of this. So March 2nd is Dr. Seuss's birthday, and in case you didn't know that. So I'm going to give you a little, kind of clip of things. In 1998, Read Across America started, right? And they decided, or it may have started, let me see if I can find that. It may have started a little bit sooner, but it started Read Across America, and it decided to hold it on the same day as Dr. Seuss's birthday. So yesterday was Dr. Seuss's birthday, and if you don't know, his name is Theodore Seuss Geisel. Okay, so he's very famous author, and from what I heard from on Ben Shapiro today. He actually is the second most wealthy earner in the world that's no longer living, right? So Michael Jackson's the first and Dr. Seuss is the second, because Dr. Seuss books have been a part of kids. Okay, thanks, Chris. Part of children's lives and even pop culture and stuff for so many years. I mean, like I said, I mean, this has been going on. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys knows the first time a Dr. Seuss book came out. I'd have to go look. But the point is that we have to recognize that cancel culture is coming full form when they happen to drop the bomb on the birthday, right? And reading across America, it's not like these books just came out. They've been out for what, 50 years, 40, 50, 60, 100 years. I don't even know how long they've been out. I'd have to pull that up, but this is not something new, right? These are not something new. And I remember when I was a teen, and I'm dating myself here. And by the way, if you haven't hit the share button, hit the share button, and please make sure you have the notifications tab on, because as I told you, I'm on the schnitzel list. I'm not, my reach has been completely like quelched. So hit the share button, or at least grab the link and share it to somebody you think, or tag someone here that you think might find the content entertaining or informative. Um, so when I was a kid, there was a book that we all wanted to read, and some of you guys that were watching went to either junior high or elementary, junior high, or high school with me. But remember, hello, I think it's hello, dear God, it's me, Margaret, or hello, God, it's me, Margaret. Do you guys remember this? So there was pieces in that book that were so risque for children, for kids our age. Hey, Coach Dale, welcome to the broadcast. And so we contrast that, like this book that at the time, mentioned things, and some of you guys know about Ralph and different stuff, and oh my gosh, it was like the 50 Shades of Grey for the youngsters, right? Put a 2 in the chat box if you guys know what I'm talking about. And so this was like, like a coveted thing that people were trying to check it out of the library because it was a little bit taboo. Right. So now we've taken something like that actually addresses things. And again, still in a way that kids have an opportunity to talk about it and figure things out, because life is confusing. Life gets confusing. But when we go backwards and talk about Dr. Seuss, and the racism that's being established in these books, I think it begs for us to take a little deeper look, right? What platform are you going to? I'm going to number of platforms. If you guys are on my newsletter list, you'll know where we're going and where we are and what's happening. So I recommend that you go to VickiFitch.com and you guys sign up for the newsletter. Also go to VickiFitch.com/freebies. I'll drop it in here, and you can get that national hashtag calendar I'm talking about. And that will also sign you up for, whoops, I can't even spell it right. That will also sign you up for the newsletter, so you know what's happening. We also have a special newsletter, a social media newsletter, talking about other apps and where they are, what they do, how they're different, that kind of stuff. And Facebook just blocked me from my own link to my own website on my business page, because I should not be able to advertise my own business on my Facebook business page, because I shouldn't. All right, so as we go back there, I guess none of you guys are familiar with Margaret, and with hello dear God, or was it dear God, it's me, Margaret? Anyway, so it was a little risque at the time. So yesterday, like I said, was Read Across America Day, and that is also Dr. Seuss's birthday. So it's, we use the hashtag about Dr. Seuss and stuff. And so we've identified now that Dr. Seuss, according to this, in the 6 books that they've removed, is racist, right? So I'm going to try and give you a little bit, write it on paper and show it on the screen. Which part? Which part did you want me to do that for? Well, I do have a little envelope. I need to have some more of my pop-up signs like I had the other night. So, here we have Dr. Seuss, right? Oh, the link. Okay, William, thanks. I'll do that in a minute. So we've got Dr. Seuss, and I wrote a thing and shared it out if you guys are following me. And if you're not following my regular content, follow it. But I have a group, not a group, what is it? A list of things in a what do we even call that? Many of you are following it. It allows followers, and it's called Step Up, Stand Up, Stand Out, and Speak. And so I put a lot of content in there, just tag things to go in there because then I don't have to share it out so I don't get schnitzeled for it, but it's in there and so you can go and review it. It's a little harder when people comment because when I go to the comments, I have to look at every item in there and figure out where you commented. So it's not as organized and easy as something else you're doing. Hey, Meg, welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you guys being here. And again, hit the share button. Dr. Seuss first book was in 1937. Thank you so much. 1950 and 60 for the ones we know. Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate that because that's really helpful. Now think about that. 1937. Now that's a long time ago. And like I said, I backed up for a second talking about something when I was in school, this little bit of a taboo book, that and the taboo part was like this teeny little bit, right? But it was at the time it was a bit taboo. Now, some parents probably wanted to pull it out of the library. Now, why would they want to pull it out of the library? Because it talked about, it started introducing you to the concept of not sex so much, like I said, it's what we can right now, it's what 3-year-olds know. Like, at the time, we didn't know this stuff. And we didn't know boys named their body parts. And we learned that in this really, really book that was on the fringe, right? And it only had a little part. It's not like it was, tons of information on it. I mean, it was just this little tiny piece. But now we're looking at, the things in life that are indoctrinating our kids, right? Cardi B's song WAP. Put a 3 in the chat box if y'all know what that song is. And that's what's forming our children, right? That's what our kids are listening to if we're not careful, which, we can't watch them 24/7 and other people are listening to it and therefore our kids are listening to it. Thanks, Tammy. Our kids are listening to it. And if you don't know what WAP is, you can look it up later because I got to tell you, it's really disgusting. I mean, honestly, it's disgusting. There's some things that are on the edge and they can kind of be cool. That's just disgusting, right? So that is okay. And kids don't get in trouble for doing it in school or whatever. And nobody's trying to cancel Cardi B out, even though they know 12-year-olds are flocking to try and be like her. But we're taking a stab at Dr. Seuss. Okay. So I just want to back up a little. And even my son posted, well, I heard about some, kind of racist content there, right? It is nasty, isn't it? But he's like, I heard there's some racist content there. So I started doing some research and I haven't had enough time to do a ton of research. Facebook's version of WAP, there's some fact checkers in this house, right? So and I probably will get boosted if I use her name and I start hashtagging WAP. I'll probably, everybody will see my content then. So maybe I have to try that. But as we look at Dr. Seuss, right, and look at some of the pieces that they're identifying, there's one picture, and I'm going to tell you what it is. If somebody tries to take this out of context, feel free, whatever. You guys are going to do what you're going to do. But this is the truth. And if we can't talk about facts and we can't talk about information, then we're never going to get through it and learn and grow and change where we need to change without this cancel culture trying to, just drop everybody. Hey, Boo Farouk, welcome to the broadcast. Again, if you guys say something in the chat, I can see them. Otherwise, I apologize if I'm missing you. And by the way, if you think I'm ignoring your comments, I don't know why, but this is seems to be a thing with Facebook. At the end, when I go back to the chats, there's a ton more comments. It's like the only ones they allow to come through here are the ones they consider the most popular or whatever. I don't know, the Facebook ones. So when I go back, I'll go, whoa, these people were talking to me and going, hey, Vicky, like, where are you? I'm answering every comment. I may take a couple minutes, but I always scroll back through. So if I don't see your comment, keep trying to tag it, and then I will try and go back and respond as well later on. But so there's one picture, and I can't even remember which book it's in, that there is a Chinese man, right? And he's got kind of a typical, back in the day, a braid, a braid, like you've seen different movies and stuff that had the long braid. And he's got chopsticks and a bowl of rice in his hand, right? So where I guess I want to address this is that there's a difference between racism and sorry, I lost my word here. Hold on one second. And stereotypes, right? Racism and stereotypes are totally different things. A stereotype of a Chinese person doing, I remember, the old laundry commercial. I can't remember what it was for, but the girl and says ancient Chinese secret, and it's a stereotype that Chinese people were better at laundry. Not that they're slaves, but they were better at laundry, right? But we can't say anything. Hey, Marcia, welcome. We can't say anything anymore without people trying to take it out of context. I mean, and I said this on the show on Monday. If you're a racist, you probably are. I mean, not probably. You're a racist. Like, if you don't like other people because of the color of their skin or the way they look, then you're a racist and you already know it. And you're probably proud of it because people don't typically hide racism, when they're with their buddies or whatever. They're trying to be cool. I mean, it's disgusting, it's despicable, it's immature, and it's sad, right? But it is what it is. But if you're a racist, you're a racist. So this cockamamie bull story about you're either a racist or a racist in denial is a load of crap. I mean, it's brainwashing insanity that we need to try to kind of get through. But so when I look at that picture and I think, okay, I didn't find it racist. I've never heard any Chinese person that found that was horrific and horrible. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if a large population of people find that offensive, couldn't we just adjust the the picture? Can't they just adjust the picture? Do we have to cancel the 6 books? Because they're not saying the entire book is racist. It's not about calling people racial slurs or these things. We're talking about things that at the time when they were written were culturally identified like stereotypes. And well, guys, stereotypes are what they are. And I think I heard Ben Shapiro talking about something about comic book characters or whatever. They're based on stereotypes. Otherwise, you wouldn't know who we were talking about or what we were doing. I heard now that Superman, truth, justice, and the American way is they're changing that. Somebody else is going to be rewriting something about Superman. He's going to be changing. I don't get it. Create some new characters. Why do we have to change the old ones? Is there something wrong with truth, justice, and the American way? Saying the American way means we can have pride in our country. It doesn't mean we think we're better than everybody else. I mean, are you guys with me here? Can I get a 4 if you guys are with me? I mean, like I said, this concept of being proud of who you are and flying your flag and like you do at the Olympics, that you're rooting for your country and you're waving your flag. It doesn't mean I think I'm better than you. It means I'm excited. I want to do this. I want my country. I want to support my country or my team, whatever team that you follow in whatever sports league. You fly their flags, you wear their colors. That doesn't mean the rest of the world sucks or everybody else is horrible. It means you're supporting them. So why do we have to take these things in these crazy offshoot ways? If there's something wrong with something, we can look at it first. We don't have to snap decision. Let's cancel them. And then, I mean, I'm personally disappointed in the Dr. Seuss Foundation for just backpedaling so fast and saying, "Oh, we're going to take them all." You start with 6 books, and let me just tell you, they've already now identified that Cat in the Hat might go next. I don't know why. Like I said, it's just some crazy stuff. Somebody else sent me a picture that people are saying is racist, and she said, and I looked at it. I saw a little bit of stereotype. It was I don't even know which book it was from, but he was writing, kind of like in different countries, they'll ride on like camels or they'll ride large elephants in the kind of, what do you call that? Like it's square. It's kind of like a carriage, but on top of the animals. There's one with that happening. There's different stuff. Like I'm looking for the cultural reference that's a problem and I can't find it. So, you definitely are a proud country. We are a proud country line. But I think that's good. I think like I know my friends in Canada, I had a lot of Canadians on my team in a previous business, and they would, there was less Canadians than there were Americans. And when they would get there, they would fly their flag, and they were the most boisterous. Yes, they were proud. They were proud that they were doing well. And why should we put that down? We should be encouraging that. Pride of being proud or snobbish is not the same thing as being proud. I am totally proud of my country. I am a proud American. I'm a patriot. I am a freedom fighter. I love this country. but I don't love it and hate yours. I love it, but I love Australia too. It's beautiful. I love the people. I love different countries, but I am proud to be an American. That doesn't mean I think I'm better than you. And that's where I said we are proud, but why? Why does that have to do? Yes, it is. I find it admirable when I was visiting there. And Line, where are you from? Am I saying your name right? Is it Lene or is it Line? Um, uh, um, William wrote, but America is better. Okay, it's okay for us to believe our country is the best, right? If we didn't believe our country was the best, wouldn't we be trying to get to another country? Wouldn't we be trying to go there? We all want to be where we think it's best. US Canadians are too humble and becoming more like doormats. Sad. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Like I said, I have some friends, a lot of friends in Canada, and they're definitely not doormats. They're not here, but I hate seeing people, anybody, be treated like a doormat. It doesn't matter who they are. We should all be taking care of people. We should all be acting like people that we should be able to honor and respect because of our integrity and our character, not because of what country we come from or what color our skin is or what color our hair is or how tall or short or fat or skinny or what. It doesn't matter. What we need to do is just own who we are, accept who we are, and then if we see injustices, if we see things that maybe aren't really represented very well, can't we talk about it and make some changes? I mean, seriously, I personally don't get it, but if, let's say, the Chinese culture found it completely offensive to have the guy with the top chopsticks and a rice bowl in his hand, or the ponytail, whatever it was, if they found that completely offensive, okay, I mean, that would be a compromise that wouldn't be outrageous, right? And say, okay, how about if we draw him differently? So the next print run, we'll adjust that. I mean, what do you guys think about that idea? I mean, if I'm not saying that Dr. Seuss should do that, but if you wanted to come up with a compromise instead of bowing down and letting people roll over you and saying that your books are racist, I mean, it's insane. It's insane. So, if any of you, by the way, and I totally mean this because, like I said, I started doing research. If you have something from one of these Dr. Seuss books that you think is racist or inappropriate, I'd love for you to share it with me. Post it. I don't know if you can because, like I said, you can get canceled or whatever, but share it to me privately in Messenger because we got to be able to talk about things. Why do we have to cancel things? Let's talk about them. I mean, I can tell you there's some really outrageous things I think are going on, but no, we're not trying to cancel them because it's a free country. It's a country where we're supposed to be allowed to speak our mind without being censored, without being, in the schnitzel box. We're supposed to be able to talk and communicate. And even if I'm an idiot and I'm not articulate and I say things poorly, I should still be able to say it. And then the people that don't agree with me can say, oh, I feel sorry for her because she's ignorant or she's not very articulate. She's not making good points. Maybe she has good information, but she doesn't know how to deliver it well. And other people say, I agree with you. That's the beauty of freedom. But our freedoms are getting taken away because people are squashing us. And like I said, I'm in the schnitzel box all the time. Let's see. It's Lynn. Oh, Lynn. Okay, Lynn. That's my middle name. William says China, they could care less. They have bigger plans for us. Well, and again, you're stereotyping them as a broad whole. But the people here, Chinese Americans, did they find it offensive? I don't know. But if they did, and I wouldn't quite understand, but I wouldn't be offended if Dr. Seuss wanted to change that drawing for the next run. I mean, okay, so let's do that. There's no content in there that was saying that. Now, my son did tell me that there was one section in If I Ran the Zoo. I think I haven't seen this yet myself, but one section in If I Ran the Zoo that might have sounded a little bit I don't even think it was racist, but it might have sounded a little derogatory because let's remember too, in 1937, yeah, it has gone too far. In 1937 is a long time ago. There's culture changes. Let's face it. A song like WAP would not have been around in 1937 because you would have been like a crazy heretic and you would have been, maybe not heretic, but you would have been, you would have been tucked into a corner of the not so nice girls of the world, right? Because that was totally unacceptable way to talk about your own body and those kind of things. I mean, it's just, in 1937 you could have got away with it. So let's go back for a minute because I know if anybody's watching this that has been doing some research, the questions that come up are going to be like, well, now when you start looking, there's other things that say that Dr. Seuss was a racist. Okay, so I started looking at that. There's a from way back, and I think it was before 37. There was a picture of Hitler and a picture of a Chinese person. Now, I I state this because I do not know, right? When I was in 6th grade, for any of you guys, my friends that were into 6th grade with me, Miss Z, excuse me, made us learn political satire. Sorry, I've been really dry. So, political satire often requires you to know who the people are that are in the picture. Now, Hitler is very well known, so I knew Hitler was one of the people. The Chinese person, of course, was notated I mean, Chinese people do have distinctive features on their face, just like black people, white people, Scandinavian people. People have different features. That doesn't mean we're picking on them, but that's again a stereotype is what helps us identify what's going on. And it did say something about protecting us from them, like Hitler and maybe the Chinese. Now, do I think I don't know if that was a dictator that was there or if they were just talking about Chinese people in general. Like when we look back at history, because I think these things are relevant. And like I said, I'm not saying things shouldn't change, but are we going to identify someone as a racist that didn't like Hitler? I don't think we're going to identify that he didn't like Germans, right? That we don't like Germans if we're identifying that Hitler was a bad guy. So if we're using a dictator, someone from, that area that was trying to do, because I remember the Ayatollah Khomeini was a big part of political satire when that was part of the assignments we were doing. So does that mean we don't like any Middle Eastern people? No. So we have to be careful that we look at things from people's past as it was assigned to the time and what was happening. When Japan, for instance, bombed Pearl Harbor, back in the day, right? People were mad at the Japanese people. Does that make it right? And would we do things differently now? Okay, let me back that up. Does that make it right? No, it doesn't. Would we do things differently now? Yes, we probably would. But the point is, we learn from things. We learn how the delivery of our information. History is something for us to learn from, not to scrub and pretend it didn't happen. Like I think I told you guys the other day, I tried to get the movie Roots because I wanted my kids to understand why some of these people are feeling very angry and frustrated, even though they didn't experience it themselves. Why there's so much anger? Because once you've kind of distanced generations away from something and we've never really seen it, um, a movie like Roots can really, like, I remember I sobbed when I saw it because I was like, I had no idea. Like it hit me because cognitive dissonance said to me that couldn't happen. Nobody would ever treat another person like that. So what are they talking about? Like what really happened? And so that really put it into context for me. But now you can't find the movie anywhere, you can't rent it anywhere, you can't buy it anywhere. Why? Why have we scrubbed history of history, right? Cuz that's what happened. So I'm not watching, I don't want to watch it to celebrate. I want to watch it to say we can never go back here again. We can never allow a series of events to occur that something would go like this. History guides us and directs us, and when we scrub it and we pretend it didn't happen, then we can't learn from it and we can't adjust course. Let me read your comments really quick, and then I'll go through here. Let's see. Ed says never compromise. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I don't think we should compromise our values. I think we have to be very careful, and I think our value set is what's going to hold us tight here. And again, guys, if you haven't hit the share button or grabbed that link, tagged someone in it, or copied it, I really appreciate it. And if you're not on the newsletter list, get it, because like I said, I don't know how much longer I'll be here because Captain Unity, anything you say about Captain Unity gets us in trouble. Anything we say about some of these other things gets us in trouble. Let's see. Lynn says, I agree. Removing stuff doesn't remove it from history. Learn from it and understand it was what's happening. Exactly, right, Lynn? That's what I'm talking about. Let's learn. When we learn together, then we can help our kids to recognize why that's not good and why that went astray and how we can correct it for the future. Ed says, I've had enough. It's gone too far. I completely agree with you. Lori says, it's actually okay to not like people. I guess that's true. It's wrong to act against them in a harmful way. True. There is a difference. Yes. But so this is a really good question. I promise I'll get to the rest of the comments there. So you're right, and it doesn't actually hurt someone if you create political satire about them or their race, which, by the way, there's still a lot of political satire about white people. And, if we want it to go one way, we should make it go both ways because it's confusing to kids. I told you guys before that my son went to a school that was primarily um, Hispanic and Asian kids and a few black kids as well. But Elijah was the only white kid at this private school, a very small school he went to, and the boys would call him Cracker, and he didn't understand why it was okay for them to call him Cracker and that he couldn't use what they called them, themselves. And so we had to talk about that, but we can't teach kids things if we don't have if we're not allowed to talk about them in society and we're not allowed to reference them because somehow we're labeled a racist. I mean, good parenting is tough. It's hard work. It's rough, and it's rough in business too, that if you're constantly walking on eggshells wondering if people are going to cancel you or get rid of your business, how can we live like that? And I always believe, I am who I am. You can love me, you can hate me. Most people don't ride the pine, they don't ride the middle line. They either love me or they hate me. But I love people. I want to help people. I want us to be able to talk, and I think we should be able to talk. And if that's too much for you, because I don't mush, I'm not a marshmallow brain that you can, change the way I feel by trying to coerce me, then I guess we're not right for each other, right? Whether it's in business or as friends. Ed says, live and let live the libertarian way. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but um, William says a church filing a lawsuit to use certain things for certain ceremonies in Texas would happen in 1937 either. A church filing a lawsuit to use certain things for certain ceremonies. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure when you tacked on the Texas 1937 part. Lynn says it's turned into a participation ribbon society, appease everyone and be neutral, right? And you're either for something or against it. You got to pick. You just can't. If you go along, we always call it Switzerland. I'm not even sure you can say that anymore because Switzerland was always neutral, right? They didn't want to get involved in the conflict. So the term I'm Switzerland means I'm neutral. I'm not getting involved, right? I'm not going to take a side one way or the other. And right now, you're not allowed to be Switzerland. You have to be the aggressor or you are the aggressed. That's not even a right word, right? You're attacked. And it's nuts. Um, Participation trophies destroyed America. I don't exactly agree with that. I do agree to some degree that we've changed the dynamics of people learning how to grow and accept situations, but I don't know that it destroyed America. You remember Salman Rushdie when we were 16 and they went after him? I don't. It sounds familiar, um, William. I know I'm having a brain fade, but remind me and send me something. Ed says never. I will never appease anyone. I've been broken. You never. You've been broken and you won't appease anyone? I think you haven't been broken, right? Lori says, I have been told that if I have a job that someone non white wants, I should give it up to them. Well, that's ridiculous and insane. That's what I say. It's asinine, is what it is. And that's about as close as swear words as I get, right? It's just asinine. It makes no sense that you that are perfectly capable and need to take care of your own family needs would give up your job for someone else that is a different skin color. That's racist. And that's why are we being racist for one way or the other? It's crazy. So as we start, looking at some of the things, I wrote a couple things down that I'm sure most of you probably know, but maybe some of you don't. Now, because I think it was Mark Fidelman that posted, or no, I think it was Wes Schaefer that posted, the drag queens twerking in libraries is okay, but Dr. Seuss has to go. Now, put a 5 in the chat box if you guys know about the drag queens that were doing story time at the libraries, at the public libraries. I think it was the summer before last, or the year before last. And I personally, I found it offensive. I found it incredibly offensive. And I want to tell you why, right? And because it deserves a conversation. It's not because they're trans, okay? That's their own lifestyle. But kids right now, especially in today's culture, are so easily confused, especially with what the schools are teaching them. And I don't know, did you guys hear, by the way? Did you guys hear that I had shared it out to her? I put it in the Step Up, Stand Out, and Speak thing, that a babysitter or a daycare center was having conversations with the 3-year-olds that they didn't have to stay their gender, that they could change genders. So I got to tell you, that's where Mama Bear comes out. You want to start talking to kids and my grandkids about changing their gender when they're 3 or 4 or 5 years old, you're out of your cotton picking mind. Okay. Kids are confused enough as it is. And the more the way schools, and now we're indoctrinating, now preschool teachers and daycare people are teaching our kids that they can switch genders. Now, this I blame on Captain Unity. EO Joe has been going so crazy with that pen of his. Like, that one is just nutballs. And that the person that the Pennsylvania, what's her name? Rachel Levine. Okay, Rachel has a screw loose if she really believes that 3-year-olds should be, that we should start talking to 3-year-olds about gender modification, I guess we'll call it, right? Gender reassignment surgery. That's nuts. It's nuts, nuts, nuts. Like I said, we don't let kids drink, smoke. It's illegal for them to do this. They can't vote, they can't drive, but it's okay if you want to change your sex. Like, people, wake up, America. People making decisions when their brains are fully formed, that's your own deal. But indoctrinating children to start thinking about it when they're 3, and did you see the article I posted today? Babies 3 months old start forming racist tendencies at 3 months old. Now, who is the loco that decided to put this stuff out? Give me a freaking break. Like, have you ever seen a 3-month-old that started, if you put a black baby and a white baby, that they'll, let me get away from the black baby. If you put a Mexican baby next to a white baby, I mean, are you kidding me? You see pictures all the time of kids, they run and hug, they care about people. I am not buying the 3-month-old is starting to form racist tendencies. I mean, that's just people. Can we please stop? So, backing up for a minute to the transgenders reading the libraries, they were having them doing kids reading hour. That's confusing to children. That is incredibly confusing because they're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to figure out how to form friendships. They're trying to figure out how to learn how to play and share. They're trying to learn give and take and what that means. And now they've got, I mean, and I remember this one, she was twerking. She was in a big foofy dress and had her hands on the wall and was twerking for the kids. And the kids were anywhere from 18 months to 5 years old. Okay, nobody should be twerking. But then you're adding on this transgender person who, and transgenders tend to be very what's the word I'm looking for? Flamboyant in dress, right? That's part of the culture and part of who they are. But even the trans community says it's inappropriate to try and bring children into their community. It's not appropriate. So why are we doing this? Why is this leftist agenda? And it is a left. I know I shouldn't say that because now I'm getting banned again. But it's that L agenda, right? That's pulling all this stuff in and trying to shove it down our throat. There's a difference between accepting people for who they are. I don't mind people being who they are. Be who you are, but don't indoctrinate children. Let children figure out who they are. Let them do that on their own. Stop telling them, seeding them as children that they can change genders, because that's just strange. If you have an issue with your gender, you have an issue with your gender. A 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, they don't even know what that is yet. You know, boys play with dolls and girls play with trucks. I mean, I was a tomboy. I don't think we're allowed to use that word anymore, but that's I was a total tomboy. I mean, I used to play a game that I cannot even say on this thing because the words, I don't know why it was ever called that. It was not an appropriate thing to call, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But it was. That doesn't mean I was a racist. That doesn't mean I was transphobic. That doesn't mean, it doesn't mean any of those things. I don't know where the names of things come up with, but we've got to be really careful to stop canceling everything out. Children are naturally unsure of people who look different than them. It's not racist, it's a natural protection instinct to be trepidatious. Our job is to guide them how to know when something different is not a threat. Right. But at 3 months old, they don't get it. Anybody that smells different than their parents might be rejected, but I don't believe, and maybe someone has a cologne. Maybe there is, I mean, we all do have different I don't want to say odors, but our bodies do produce different smells, and they just are. Now, I know certain, like I know we have some Indian friends that put a lot of curry and a lot of stuff, and some of those things seep out the pores. So with the children, so I don't know, but it's not about the color of their skin. It's not. I will never believe that. If it was, we would have such an incredibly racist generation of children, or the whole world would be racist. And the world is not racist. I mean, I don't even see racism most of the time. Once in a while, you see it. And I'm not saying it's not there. I know that it's there. But if it was that widespread that 3 month olds started, forming those things, then we would see horrible things that were going on, and that's just not the case. So we have to stop being silent, people. We have got to stop being silent. You need to step up, stand out, and speak. Like, maybe your speaking is sharing this out and saying, I don't know, is this lady crazy or is she onto something? I don't know. You don't have to say that you agree, right? Hey, CPT, welcome to the broadcast. Oh, Captain Obvious, that's what my nephew used to call himself. So please think about that, right? Recognize that there are different ways to deliver messages, and we don't have to cancel everything. Stop canceling things. And when you see things that are being canceled, find out why it's being canceled. Like I said, this Dr. Seuss stuff. If something, maybe if a word needs to be changed, because maybe it was, words that we now remember. I'm going to say something that the definition used to be different, right? I'm not saying anything negative about this word. Back in the day, when you said something was gay, you were talking about happy or bright or vivacious. It was a lighthearted term. It had nothing to do with your sexual orientation or who you were. But now, so if you had written a book back before that people have rewritten our language, you could be canceled for something that was completely innocent. So if it is now offensive, at least we can give people the opportunity. I don't find the word gay to be offensive if used. Like, I know some of the older books, I want to say like Charlotte Bronte or something like that used that word. Again, it was acceptable. The definition was changed by other people, not the original word itself. So if you're not using it in that context, we really shouldn't be fearful. But at least we can have a conversation, if we're going to have a conversation, and stop trying to cancel a book. Just stop trying to cancel things. Like, from what I understand, I have the book The Help. I thought that was a great book. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I heard it's getting canceled too. That because it's like, people, history is history. Recognizing the value of all people, and maybe how some people weren't valued, and what about the beautiful story of how people overcame that. That's inspiration, right? It doesn't mean we want to hold people back, but the story of Rosa Parks, that's a woman that step up, stand out, and speak. She was quiet, but she did her thing, right? So she's known in history because she was bold. She was not going to accept unacceptable behavior anymore, and she was willing to do something about it. But we instead of us doing something about it, we practice non-doing about it and just kind of the keyboard cowards, and I we should cancel this and let's not do that. We got to stop this. It's so juvenile. It's like dealing with a bunch of kindergartners that, we're going to be offended by every possible thing there could possibly be. I don't get it. And again, you can get mad at me for this. If someone wants to explain to me, I don't understand how Aunt Jemima syrup is a bad thing. Her family, that family, because this woman that did it, her family loved that. I mean, from what the articles I read, and it produced income for their family, and they were so proud that she was able to do this. And then people take it like they it was meant to be. Like I said, they try and put their own spin on it, that it's like talking about the slave girl doing, creating, do go make the syrup. That's not what it was about. It was a story of triumph, of coming from, slavery, the slavery background, and making something of yourself. But now we've tried to sanitize it. We try and make it look creepy, and then we try and wash it away. And it's ridiculous. Let's see. Ed said, when I've said I've been broken, I mean I've allowed society to harden my heart. I hear you, brother. Like when a homeless person rejects food and demands money instead, like when I can't go into the grocery store without a mask, and Captain Unity lets C-19 infected illegal immigrants loose on the interior of this country. You guys heard about that, right? 108 illegal immigrants across the border in Texas have COVID, and then they just released them out anyway. They let them go. Go ahead and infect everyone. It's okay. Like when my entire life as a white Christian male is being characterized as a white supremacist domestic terrorist, right? It's horrific, guys. And those of you who are, of color, whether, of Asian or Hispanic or Black, I appreciate those of you that do step up, stand out, and speak, that you stand up for people like me. I'm not a racist. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not, you know, I'm just me. And I don't characterize myself by the color of my skin. The only reason we're talking about skin color is because it keeps getting shoved down our throat, and it's getting shoved down everybody's throat. It's ridiculous. Who cares? I mean, I really mean that. Who cares what color your skin is? Who cares? I remember, and this might sound racist too. I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. I have a friend, Terry, and her family watches this sometime, and they married, the white girls married black men, and their children, and again, I don't know if you're allowed to say this anymore, but they were called mulatto. I don't know if that's politically correct or not. I'm just telling you, as a kid, I was always so jealous of their skin because it's so beautiful. It's like, it's like this beautiful creamy color. I just love it. I absolutely love it. And so now, am I somehow a weirdo racist because I love their skin color? I don't know, but I mean, I do know. I'm not. So whatever, but will somebody else say that? Probably. I don't know. But why should we be so subject to worrying about what everybody else thinks or says? Can't we just be ourselves? And can't we judge, like Martin Luther said, can we judge the content of someone's character? Because I mean, you guys, if you're watching my show, I'm not going, oh, and those, and that, like I'm better than them. Like we're better as Americans or better as white people or better. What I don't feel that way. And so if you try and slap that label on me, you're either just a total liar or you're completely confused. And so I try and give you the benefit of the doubt and try and have a conversation. But when you guys stand up too, it makes it easier for other people. It makes it easier for people to say, hey, I don't believe that. When you hear something, Dr. Seuss is a racist, you don't know him personally. So maybe you're not going to jump to his defense. But I mean, in my heart of hearts, I hope if somebody said to you that, Vicky's, oh, she's a racist or she's a white supremacist or I would hope you'd say, no, she's not. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I've never seen it. Be happy to ask her about it, but no. And just step up, stand out, and speak. I mean, I would stand up for any of you that I know personally, and if I don't know you, I would still stand up and go, I'd have to hear it from them personally first before I'd believe that, because there's too much garbage going around, and we don't all have the same beliefs, religious, or we don't all. I don't care. I'm still going to be me, and if you don't want to listen to me because I'm a Christian, that's okay. If you want to listen and then sift through what you like and what you don't, that's okay too. It's okay. We don't have to be the same. That's the beauty of having relationships from all over the world and different places. You don't have to be like me. I don't even want you to be like me. I want you to be like you because I want to know you, right? Um, Lori said, I've had people offended that my antique piano had ivory keys. Hmm. Like, how dare you own ivory? It was 200 years old, not from recent. And you know what? That's the exact point that we've gone so um we've got, you're chastised if you're given an heirloom. Now you're supposed to what? Replace them? You're supposed to do something else. So some bad people did some bad things, and at the time when it probably first started, it wasn't even considered bad, right? Because killing an animal, whether they're eating it or whether it died and they took the ivory or whatever, but then it turned into money, and they were killing elephants for their tusks, and those things became yucky and despicable. But like you said, now if I bought an heirloom and it had ivory keys, does that make me bad? No. I'm not going out to kill an elephant, and I'm not going to seek out buying things that where I know people are killing them now. But having something precious from the past doesn't make us bad people. And that's why I said, people, if you guys have not read my book, Evict the Bully in Your Head, you can see it right there. That was number 2 in the series. You should get it because I talk about the bully of judgment. The bully of judgment is always there to not only judge others, but to judge you. And your bully will continue to judge you. You're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not pretty enough. You're too weak to do this or that. We have to learn to grow in our strength and recognize our internal value has nothing to do with our external circumstances, and start being bold. Because if we don't, then everything we know is going to get quashed. Our freedoms we're going to lose our freedoms. God gave us eyes to see beauty and a voice to tell you about it. Amen to that. I kind of wish yeah, Mr. Saja. Yeah, if you guys don't know, he used to be a friend of ours. He is definitely a troll now. Sharon says, I like what Whoopi Goldberg said. We need a disclaimer or a label that these books had been written in X year, and then the parents can decide to purchase or not and make it a teachable moment. Sharon, I kind of agree. I've seen I agree with that we should identify, like I said, that it's been, make a choice, right? Here we are. I've heard some of the other things that Whoopi says that scare the crap out of me because she just kind of goes off on some tangents. And so anytime somebody says I agree with Whoopi, I get scared because I've just heard some things that I think, where did that come from? I mean, I've always thought she was an excellent actress. Like, are they canceling The Color Purple? Both she and Oprah were in that movie, but that's very depictive of I mean, Whoopi played a slave, that was treated horribly by another black woman of amongst other people. And so, is that one getting canceled, or is that one okay because the blacks were treating the blacks bad? And I'm not being facetious when I ask this. I'm being serious because it's sad that that's what we start thinking about now. Oh wait, wait, okay, if blacks are being mean to blacks, it's okay, but if whites are being mean to blacks, it's not. I mean, I don't know. It's like we should never have to think about those things. We should look at a movie and go, "Oh, that touched my heart. That made me sick. That made me happy and made that, we should have feelings attached to it so a message gets delivered." That's the whole point. I don't always agree with her, but this topic I did. Yeah. And you know what? I like that. I really do like that because, things change. Like I said, we can maybe if it's appropriate, we can change a word or we can change a drawing. So, but again, I think we have to be very careful. If there's clearly no depiction of something horrible and there's only a few, people out of the blue, and I say a few, 10,000 people out of, the billions of people on the earth are offended, then I think you can leave it the way it is. Otherwise, what you're doing is setting yourself up for people to come nitpick you every time they want to. And this whole cancel culture thing with books and Amazon cutting books off of that's nuts. That's nuts. That's digital book burning. That is absolutely digital book burning. And that's why I always want a hard copy. I like to highlight my books. I like to do stuff. And I was gonna give some books away, and I gotta tell you right now, I'm like, "I'm not giving no books away. I'm keeping my books." I feel like back in the days when you were afraid people were gonna take your books. Books are important, and history is important, and literature is important. Even literature that wasn't, that was yucky. Like, I say yucky meaning had horrific things. We still need them so we can show not we don't go there again. That's that's what it is. Sometimes some of the things that our children were I remember reading some things with my son and thinking, "Oh my, this is not, I don't like this. I don't like this at all." But they had to learn. And so I wasn't a fan of them reading it in school because I felt like there was inappropriate content for the age groups. But at least we have a chance to try and help, help the kids to understand what's going on and recognize when something is wrong. If when we treat other cultures or people poorly, and like I said, when you use political satire, there's a lot of stuff that could be considered inappropriate. But when people are bombing us, for instance, we're less concerned about their feelings, and I say they're meaning the bad guys, not their entire culture, but the bad guys. And so it's accepted during that time, but now we want to take it out of context when it comes way later, and all of a sudden that's not acceptable anymore. It's like, oh, you can't, you're not allowed, there's satire is not allowed anymore. We're going to become a nation of lemmings. Like, we're not allowed to think. We're not allowed to. Oh no, we're not allowed to do that. We can't be like that. Hollywood has a slightly different upbringing. They've been in a world designed to mold minds. Yeah, I mean, I'm believing that more and more for sure. If you raid an enemy compound, do you burn their documents? That's a good question, Lori. I don't think they do. I think they take the documents so they can learn more about them. Ed says we are being attacked for our God-given beliefs. We didn't pick this fight. How long will we be expected to endure this? When and how do you believe we should fight back? Our beliefs are being used as weapons against us. Well, Ed, that's a very loaded, multi-layered question there, but I'm going to try and answer it. Um, we are not necessarily in this particular form because Dr. Seuss, I don't think is like a Christian, wasn't there weren't Christian books that were being attacked, but I think Christians are being attacked in many ways. But I think even because our values are being attacked, but it's really more anyone that that doesn't agree with a very and I have to say it, a very liberal agenda, a very progressive agenda. I consider myself a progressive thinker, but not that kind of progressive. I don't believe that our moral I believe our moral compass is really out of whack right now. So we're being, we didn't pick this fight. We didn't pick this fight. How long will we be expected to endure this? Until, right? Until it's over, until we're gone, until we win, until, until, that's we're expected to endure it until. And if you endure it as a doormat, then that's your fault, right? If you endure it as and I'll use the word crusader because I haven't looked at the operational definition of crusader, but when I think of the word crusader, I think of someone that recognizes that there's danger and they're willing to go forward anyway. Like, I think of, Indiana Jones, he's the crusader, trying to get through things, and the Caped Crusader, he knows he's going to get into trouble, but it's worth it because he's trying to do the right thing. And so I think of that we have to cloak ourselves in humility and love, right? But that doesn't mean that we're doormats. So I love people. I don't like Robert. I don't understand him. He never used to act that way, and now he is. And so now I'll use a little sarcasm with him to try and snap him out of his rude behavior. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but in general, I still love him. I still love him as a person. I still love the people that troll me. I still love people that call me names. They are who they are, right? And so we just have to move forward. And fighting back, I think we fight back every day. I think we fight back with love, but I think we also fight back with information. We fight back with articulation. When we articulate ourselves well and people, we can give people food for thought and say, hey, let's talk about this topic. Do we really have to cancel Dr. Seuss because of this? What are the other alternatives, right? I believe, and if you've read my books, I believe in being a problem solver and not just a problem identifier, right? We can all sit and, I call it backing up the dump truck. Beep, beep, beep. People dump. Lots of people want to dump their problems. I don't like this and I don't like that. And they want someone else to fix it. So I think it's our job to try and be problem solvers and figure out how can we, like the HCI, how can I deliver a message and, how can I affect other people? How can I deliver, an impassioned plea without insulting other people, right? And I think that's what our job is. So, guys, I've been on here longer than anticipated today. If you're not following me, I hope you'll do a girl a solid. Give me a follow. Make sure you're following me on all channels, but definitely go to Vicki Fitch, VICKI, F as in Frank, ITCH.com, and sign up for our newsletter. So you'll know what platforms we're doing, where we're going to be. Because like I said, I think I'm being schnitzeled. So I don't know how much longer I'll be, I don't know how much longer I'll be here, but I'll keep on trying as best I can. I appreciate each and every one of you. Keep sending me the PMs, guys. Keep sending me the information that you have. I'll keep trying to share it out. And if you need some encouragement to get a little bolder, let me know. Just you can try. Like I said, maybe you can share out something that you find value in. Maybe it's not me, but something that really touches your heart. And if you feel like you're getting bullied by someone, let me know. I'll go in and again, try and kindly stand up for you, because when we stand together, we're stronger. When we feel like we're completely alone and we're getting eaten alive, that's a very lonely and challenging place to be. So recognize that you, Yana, right? Hashtag Yana, you are not alone. So I appreciate you guys being here. Please get on my newsletter list so we can stay connected. And until next time, I want to remind you, like I always do, to dream it, believe it, and achieve it. Ciao. See you guys soon.